From the heart of South Asia to the crossroads of Central Asia, from the turbulent Middle East and North Africa to the power corridors of the West, where narratives collide, perspectives matter, and stories connect. This is Beyond Borders. I'm Umar Khalid Butt, reporting to you from the Election Commission of Bangladesh in Dhaka. There's a lot of activity going on around me. Maybe you can't see, but there are a lot of camps that are on my right. There are many journalists from across the world that are present in front of me that also reported for their respective channels from Pakistan, from all the other countries in the region, and from abroad as well. It's a very festive environment as far as these elections are concerned. These elections that began at 7:30 in the morning across Bangladesh, it was an environment that was relatively smooth, an environment that was relatively secure. There was a lot of security around Dhaka, around other cities of Bangladesh as well. Some one or two incidents that were reported. Otherwise, generally, the whole environment, atmosphere remained quite calm. People came from all the walks of life and they voted in their respective constituency and in their respective polling stations. What was interesting also was that whether it be an elderly man or woman or a young child or a young woman or the youth of Bangladesh that have been the main force behind this change that is happening in Bangladesh as we speak were all there in large numbers. This morning, we were at that constituency in the Model School and College, where not only Dr. Mohammad Yunus, but also Tariq Rahman, who is the chairman of the BNP, cast their votes. There was a humdrum when they came over, when Tariq Rahman came. Everybody just encircled themselves around him. It was as if bees were around him from a distance. Hundreds and hundreds of people wanted to talk to him, wanted to, congratulate him, wanted to back him in his endeavors. And he, for a moment, I thought, didn't have the space to breathe or walk, but ultimately they did let him move towards the voting booth and, of course, cast his ballot. A similar incident also happened with Dr. Mohammad Yunus when he came to the same constituency in order to cast his vote. Although he did somehow manage to talk to the press afterwards and also talk to some of the people that he could manage to, talk to. But the fact is that there was such a huge crowd around him. There was such a huge crowd around Tariq Rahman that I could see, understand, and witness the wave of support that not only Tariq Rahman and the BNP have had, but also Dr. Mohammad Yunus, who was the chief advisor, and the interim government that was there in this transition period between in the last few months, and of course, the elections that have happened today that have ended at 4:30 p.m. precise. We thought there might be an extension as far as the time is concerned because of some issues, but it ended at 4:30 p.m. And we've been told by the Election Commission that the unofficial results will start pouring in by midnight. But officially, the results will start pouring in from tomorrow morning. But by the end of the day tomorrow, we'll know exactly which political party is leading the polls, which political party is going to form the next government, whether by itself or in coalition with other political parties. That will only time will tell. But for the moment, there's a lot of speculation on who might or who might not form the next government. But what was interesting in all of this atmosphere was also the fact that all the political parties, whether it be the BNP, whether it be the Jamaat, there was a media briefing by the Emir of the Jamaat Islami as well, who said that they are ready to work with whichever political party, whether it is them or any other political party that comes into power, and they want to work together towards the future of democracy. And democracy was a word that was highlighted many a times in all the different media briefs that were given, whether it be by the Jamaat Islami or whether it be by the BNP. And I think this is something that is not unique, but it's something that is quite positive and optimistic as far as all of this environment in Bangladesh is concerned. I managed to talk to many people from different political parties as well. I'll begin my show by talking to, of course, Alauddin Mohammad, who was the chief or the chairperson of the International Affairs Subcommittee of the NCP, which is, of course, another political party that is represented by the youth of Bangladesh. Let's take you there.
Joined by Alauddin Mohammad, who is the head or the chairman of the International Affairs Subcommittee at the NCP, which is one of the leading political parties in Bangladesh. Thank you very much, Alauddin, to have given us the time. Alauddin, I'd like to understand, now the elections are over, what are your expectations as a party worker and as the chairman of the International Affairs Subcommittee for your political party, and how do you feel your party has done as far as working towards this election is concerned?
Thank you very much, and welcome to Bangladesh. And since we are having election after more than 1.5 decades, and we did not have proper election, especially the last 3 elections were rigged and boycotted by the major political parties. So this is a big day for us, and especially for youth activists and politicians, the leadership of the NCP. Sometimes we are held responsible for breaking the status quo by the July uprising. At the same time, we are celebrated and blamed also that yes, they are the culprits and they are the heroes of the July uprising. So for us, it was a responsibility that since the old settlement, old system, all were shattered by the revolution. So it was our responsibility to present a new functional constitution and functional parliament to the nation. And today, since the election, the first stage of the election has been done very well, and there was no violence, and people have come to the polling booths. That it was a very celebrating moment. In that case, we are happy, and at the same time, we are having a sense of accomplishment that we have done our job well. And definitely from now Bangladesh can move forward to a new history, new path of democracy.
Looking at the NCP, and you yourself said they have been behind the students movement that began in 2024 as well. How important has been this change brought about by the youth of Bangladesh?
First of all, youth consists the major part of our population right now, and the inclusion of youth in the politics, in the civil society and social affairs, it actually contributed a lot for the strength of our society, because previously you have seen that since the government did not consider the voice of the people, voice of the youth, and it was not inclusive, and they did not have any accountability to the people, because the election system was somehow shattered, and they had no sense of accountability to go back to the people. So from that regime to the new regime means not talking about the power regime, but talking about the society, how it has shifted from one-sided, one-dimensional, one autocratic, authoritarian dimension to a more inclusive and participatory way. And youth are now the driving seat of the whole society. So youth here, I think, by this election also, since youth participated in the election also, and a big number of youths from NCP, BNP and Jamaat Islami also participated in this election. So they are now part and parcel of the system. It's not easy from now to eradicate them from the system. So that's the new change we are observing, and we are hopeful that by including the youth, because we will have a demographic dividend until 2040. So this time is very crucial for us, for our economy to flourish. So we can utilize this youth, their force, and it will be easier for us to break the poverty cycle and break the middle income trend also. So that's the way we are hopeful, and the change led by youth and now participated by the youth for the further changes.
Will you or your party accept the results of the elections, because they will be announced starting from tonight and of course go on till tomorrow? Whatever be the outcome, will your party accept it?
No, definitely. We know that we can't come out from no election to the best election, to the perfect election. Everything needs transition. We are in a transitional moment that we are having from no election to a good election. Definitely, we will check actually what better we could done by this during this election, and it can the show path for future. But for now, what we have seen, the situation is completely satisfactory, and we will accept the result in any way, because we are actually here also to deliver the election. along with the interim government, because it was a responsibility since we formed the government last in 2024. So we definitely, and we will request our other major political parties to accept the election also, so that the democracy will be beautiful, working opposition and the government forming alliance together.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Alauddin, to have given us the time and, of course, the opportunity to talk to you, a representative from a party that has not only been behind the 2024 uprising, but also is participating now in these elections. Well, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much for coming.
You were just watching my interview with Alauddin Ahmed. Alauddin Ahmed was somebody who was very passionate about whatever he was talking, because he represents a party that is the NCP, the party that was behind the uprising that happened in 2024. And being a young person himself, he was very passionate about whatever consequences of these elections would take place, and was ready to work with whichever party came into power. He also talked about the background of the NCP a little bit, about how the party came into being because of the uprising of 2024, and how his party has played an important role in this political change that is happening in Bangladesh as we speak. The election results the unofficial ones will start pouring in from midnight onwards, and the official results will start pouring in from 7 a.m. Onwards. This is, of course, a period of extreme importance, not only for Bangladesh, but for the region itself, because all eyes are on how this transition is going to take place and how all of these results are going to be accepted by the other political parties as well that are participating in these very elections. The sentiment is that all the political parties are ready to work together, but when it eventually happens, is what we'll see and how we'll see that. We have now been joined by a political analyst to discuss that in more detail. He joins us from the Dhaka. Nasiruddin Ahmed Saab, political analyst from Dhaka, joins us. Nasiruddin Ahmed Saab, thank you very much to have joined us. We are in your city, in front of the Election Commission as we speak. Nasiruddin Ahmed Saab, how do you view the elections and so far? Do you feel that they have taken place in a relatively safe and secure environment? And what are your predictions?
Oh, thank you very much for inviting me. And you have seen, since you are in Dhaka, this is a really red letter day for Bangladeshi people in general, and more than 120 million voters in particular. And you had been telling that yes, young voters, they form almost one-third of the total voters, and it was expected that they will be the decision maker, or they will be a major stakeholder in the overall politics, because they have brought the change in 2024. We had been suffering since 2011, and there had been movements by major political parties led by BNP and Jamaat both, but nothing could be done till 2024. The day these young people from 1st of July, the day they started occupying the streets of the capital, things started turning about, and of course the final destination was reached on 5th of August, when Sheikh Hasina had to fly away from the country. But unfortunate part is that I was listening to my previous speaker, who is from the NCP, the Student Front, newly formed after the uprising in 2024. I would be very happy if they could individually come to the election with the 300 seats, but they could not do it. They have joined a party which is having a tag of Islamization in the country, or they can, you know that always some party aligned to Islamic ideology is given a tag that they are the fundamentalist. So basing on that, there was rumors and there were a lot of criticism, especially the Student Front had a very strong backup by the leftist student organizations and members from the left bloc. They left, many of them, they left the Student Front, and many of the young lady and the leaders of the NCP, they also left the party, and now individually they are contesting. Interesting part is that none of the student leaders joined any other party. Either they have not participated in the election, or independently they are fighting, and 30 of them.
I'd like to understand something. You talked about the Jamaat-e-Islami. And now, I was listening to the media briefing that was given today, this afternoon, late this afternoon, by the Emir of the Jamaat-e-Islami, who said that they were ready to work with any political party that came into power, whether they are coming to power or not. They will be willing to work for the promotion of democracy. Do you feel sentiments such as these are important under the current circumstances in Bangladesh?
Okay, Jamaat Islam said this thing from long before, that they are interested for a national government, and they are always repeatedly saying that they will take help of all other parties, whether they form government or they are in the opposition bench. But in the same tune was there a few days back from BNP side also. But if you have listened to the recent statement of the BNP chairperson, Mr. Tarek Zia, he said that BNP will have absolute majority in the parliament, and probably the BNP will not need assistance from any other political parties to form the government. So that is the question now, that how the things goes on. And a few minutes back, I have seen a result of two constituencies already declared. One is in Jhineda, which is on the western part of Bangladesh. Another is in Chapai which is in the northern part.
All right, but I would like to understand one thing. When you look at this whole election process, and of course, you have said two results have come, but these results are, of course, unofficial. The official results will start pouring in from tomorrow morning so that we can have a proper official stance on where things are moving along as far as the party position is concerned. Speaking of the party position, how do you see the BNP coming out of these elections? Do you feel it's going to come out with the highest number of votes, or do you feel that the Jamaat-e-Islami or the NCP might prove to be make a dent as far as their numbers are concerned, or maybe some other party might also take a number of votes, and ultimately it might be a coalition of more than one group?
Okay, here I would like to mention two things. Number one, that just yesterday there had been a prediction by a poll survey team that BNP will form the government, and they will get seats between 171 to 222. At the same time, Jamaat Islam also had few prediction before. Now, there is a strong humor in the capital that most of the medias are now backing up BNP. And the result, as we can see from the different centers coming up, not centrally. Centrally, we have unofficial result. I said already two we have got, where the BNP own one and the Jamaati Islam own one. And in others, it's showing that a neck-to-neck fight is going on, and tilted towards BNP. And to my survey or my calculation, whatever I have seen in the media, I have studied for last few months regarding different positions of different candidates and parties in different constituencies. To me, it's BNP which will have a upper hand, and I think that they will not need any help from any other country to form the government.
All right, all right. Let's see how things move along. Nevertheless, it's for me, coming from another country, it's a very exciting environment that I come to see here with the journalists from across the world, from our region as well, who are centered around a country that has seen a dramatic change in the last few months. And since then is moving towards the election that many call true democracy. And all eyes on how that true democracy will eventually take shape. And that is extremely important for many observers, foreign observers that I've talked to, and of course foreign journalists that are present around me as we speak, also reporting to the respective channels, and the regional reporters as well. So I mean, I'd like to see and understand how this whole process might move in your point of view. I mean, I'd like to also understand, once these official elections results are announced, how long before the new government or the new party or all the members of the parliament come into the parliament and select their leader? Because I'd like to also understand, the whole system, how different it is from other countries, how different it is, for example, from Pakistan, and also the fact that there is a referendum that has happened today as well. There were pig slips. for the referendum and white slips that were for the elections. To discuss more on that as well, we've been joined by our team member, Ali Andaz Haider, who joins us from another part of the city. Of course, he has been moving to and fro in not only in Dhaka, but also in Ghazipur and other parts in order to apprise our viewers on what is actually happening within Dhaka and its suburbs. Ali, what's your expectation from from these elections, and how was today for you as a foreign journalist, as a foreign reporter, seeing the different constituencies where elections were taking place?
Well, I have visited around 10 polling stations, different constituencies during today's voting process. And every polling station that I visited, there was this calm, not just a calm, but there were festivities in those polling stations, which actually describe the mood prevailing among the Bangladeshis. Talking to the people who were present in the polling stations, who had arrived at the polling stations to cast their vote, a majority of these Bangladeshis, young, old, women, they were not really concerned about which party wins this election or which political leader takes the charge. They were more concerned about the prosperity, the development, and stability of Bangladesh, and the smiles on their faces gave a clear indication that uh, they can see the change in the air towards a positive direction that Bangladesh will be heading to in the wake of these elections and the new government that will take place. As far as the referendum is concerned, that you have mentioned, uh, the voters also stamped on yes or no option on the pink ballot that was provided along with the white one for different constituencies. And uh, in my interactions, I have concluded that majority of the public, I actually did not meet any single one who opposed these reforms or who opposed the referendum, and which aims to bring fundamental changes in Bangladesh politics. So, as far as my expectations, I think Bangladeshis are quite happy. Most importantly, since this election was held in a very peaceful manner and with international observers, local observers, foreign media, local media, everyone keeping a very close eye on today's.
You and myself also are foreign journalists that are present in Bangladesh. But you had the distinct advantage also to talk to many representatives of the interim government. What was their point of view as far as this whole election process is concerned, and also the time period that they spent governing the country?
Uh, I could sense determination and confidence in their tone, in their body language. They were uh, very confident that Bangladesh, which was 2 years back, is not going to return. The practices, the authoritative rule that was 2 years back, that was in place 2 years back, is not going to return. The clampdown on freedoms and fundamental rights that were in place 2 years back will not be repeated in the new Bangladesh. So currently, this country is in a transition phase. I believe by tomorrow, the results will clearly portray who the winner is, and that will bring further stability among the public in this country, which is about to undergo a major change.
Ali and thus you also talk to many people from the different 10 constituencies or so that went to. What was the general reaction as far as their candidates are concerned? Did people tell you on who they have voted for, on who they want in power, and why?
Well, Umar, I've been covering elections in Pakistan since 2013, and this is my opinion that I never ask anyone who they voted for. I just ask about their opinion. I think it's a little invasion of privacy. Everybody has the right to vote for any party they want. Some people are not willing to explain or tell other people who they voted for. But the important thing is they believe in a system, They became part of the system by casting ballot. They become part of the system by going to polling stations. That's the more important part. I think who they voted for is not that important. In a democratic process, believing in the system, being part of the system, and having faith in the system is far more important than individual candidates. And this is what Bangladeshis today have proved.
So true. Belief, faith in the system is what the people in Bangladesh are rooting for, are hoping for, are waiting for. In the next couple of hours, we'll know exactly how that faith has been restored in this whole process. We now have during my stay here also, I talked to many people and also representatives from different media organizations in Bangladesh as well. I also managed to talk to the executive director of SATV, which is one of the leading news and infotainment channels in Bangladesh, and this is what he had to say. Rashed Kanchan is the executive director of SATV, and he was very forthcoming when it came to not only Pakistan-Bangladesh relations, but also this whole electoral process. Let's take you to him.
Assalamu alaikum, and of course, welcome to our continued coverage of the elections in Bangladesh. We have the privilege and the honor to have with us right here in the studios of that very channel, Mr. Rashed Kanchan, who is the executive director of SATV. We are in one of the studios of SATV as well, and he was gracious enough to give us the time. Thank you very much, Mr. Kanchan, to have given us. Mr. Kanchan, Pakistan is very close to Bangladesh, and of course, we are seeing and observing how things are moving forward. Now, Bangladesh currently stands at an important democratic crossroad. What is your single strongest message to those who have voted now? And what kind of Bangladesh do you feel is going to emerge tomorrow after the election?
See, Bangladesh has gone through so many wrong directions since couple of, I must say, decades in political turmoil, military intervention, even intervention from the neighboring countries. So the Bangladeshi voters and Bangladeshi people has to decide to select their best leaders who will bring welfare for them, for the nation and for the country, who will never compromise national sovereignty, national integrity, national security and national development.
The environment that you must have been receiving at your channel from different quarters.
There will be no massive changes. The leading party, Bangladesh Nationalist Party, is doing better than Jamaat Islami Bangladesh, but Jamaat Islami has got a huge opportunity this time to contest neck to neck, head to head, shoulder to shoulder. This is very good in democracy, and I tell you one thing, if even Jamaat loses the election, Jamaat will be one of the finest opposition in the parliament because they are very corporate, they are very well organized and they are very trained.
I'd like to understand a little bit about the tangent of relationship between Pakistan and Bangladesh. Looking beyond the ballots and the elections and whichever leadership might come, do you see the next government having a genuine opportunity to open a new chapter as far as Pakistan-Bangladesh relations are concerned, which could maybe be driven more by economic organization rather than other aspects of our relations?
I'd like to go for military tie-up or a strategic relationship first, because we have been experiencing the media propaganda and the intelligence bad activities in Bangladesh. So far I understand Pakistan is also one of the victim and sufferer by the neighboring country. According to the editorial policy, I am not naming any country's name, but we all understand.
Yes.
That's why I believe Bangladesh and Pakistan should come forward for a strong bilateral relationship. I sometimes say Bangladesh, Pakistan should go for a NATO kind of tie-up right this moment for our survival question, because we have seen how disturbance are coming from the neighboring countries in our economy, in Pakistan economy, in the development of Pakistan, in the development of Bangladesh. We are heated by, directly, indirectly heated by the neighboring country. So we should be very strong, committed, and economic tie-up should grow, because Pakistan is one of the finest cotton producer, pharmacy producer. Bangladesh is one of the best garment producers. So we can have tie-up that will enrich both the country's economy, and military strategy will help both of us for our own protection.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rashed Kanchan, to have given us the time and the opportunity to talk to you in your channel within the context of Pakistan-Bangladesh relations and, of course, these elections as well. We wish Bangladesh all the very best, and we wish for a leadership that not only strengthens Bangladesh but also strengthens the region. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very much.
You just heard Rashed Kanchan, who, of course, is the executive director of SATV. I had a lovely time talking to him. He also told me around the channel. And there was a lot of optimism also within the channel as far as the outcome of these elections are concerned. And I think all the other channels also share more or less the same sentiment as far as how the whole country is going through a huge change. We've now been joined by Professor Enamul Haque, who's the Director General of the Bangladesh Institute of Development Studies. Professor Enamul Haque, thank you very much to have joined us. And are you as excited as we as foreign journalists are in Dhaka as far as these elections are concerned, the outcome of these elections are concerned?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Mr. Professor Enamul Haque. I was asking you about how excited are you from your perspective as far as the election process is concerned and now the results?
I think this is a great election in the sense that Bangladesh has been starving for a free and fair election for almost since 2009. 2014, as you all know, the election 2014, 2018, and 24 were not representative from the electoral point of view. So this was one of the, it's like a festive mode. The polling booth center that I went with my family, it was in a festive mode. Nothing, no hustle. In other words, it was a very quiet environment, very safe, and lots of people were simply walking in to give their vote. So I think this is the this is one of the biggest opportunity they got. And for a younger generation, it's the first time in 20, almost 20 years, first time they have been voting, and they were in a very jubilant mode. Results are not yet out, but I think the atmosphere, overall participation, everything was a great one. It's a great one. After a long time, people have enjoyed their voting rights, free and fair voting rights.
Professor Enam, how would you gauge this whole period of the interim government under Dr. Mohammad Yunus from an analyst's point of view?
That's a good question in the sense that when Professor Yunus came, there was a huge expectation from the people because people were, they were looking for good governance and they expected a lot of changes to happen during his regime. In fact, that is where I would say the people are not entirely happy. People were critical about his performance. But I think with the election today, it looks like that he has won the hearts of the people. That's how I would say it. But analytically, this was a very difficult period for him in terms of people have a huge expectation. They wanted him to deal with corruption, which has not been, honestly speaking, dealt properly, I would say. Even last week, Transparency International's new perception index, Bangladesh slipped one more point. So that means this tells you the story. In terms of the reform agenda that people thought, the government has not been able to deliver. And I'm not blaming them. My own feeling is that the expectation was too high. And Professor Yunus needed to be careful on that to at least bring the expectation down so that people can appreciate it. One expectation obviously was the election, and I think he has scored very high on this one.
Also, Professor Ram, Dr. Now, I'd like to understand this whole process from youngsters' point of view, for example. Everybody is talking about the Gen Z, everybody is talking about the youth, on how they have shaped this whole political process or the democratic process in Bangladesh after the 2024 uprising. Has that sentiment continued in spirit in this election process as well, or is it dying down? Because I was talking to a lot of youth while they were polling, and they were as passionate about the future of the election process and whichsoever party comes into power as they were, say, a couple of months back?
Yeah, I think you were right on that because a lot of the youngsters, we have a huge number of youngsters in this particular election, almost 43 million of them, which is huge number. And this group of people, in fact, is reflected as we are watching the election results coming up. We see the particularly political parties, at least this time, was forced to say that they will be dealing with corruption, lawlessness. These were the behavior people were not happy with. They were looking for fair judicial system. So I think on that count, the younger generation were pushing the agenda. So I think all political party, both Jamaat-e-Islami, BNP, and all other political party accommodated that. They have at least pledged to these people, voters, new voters, that they will continue to deal with it. I think that is the one. Second point that I believe is this: I don't know who is going to form the government, but there has been a significant rise in the voting, what you call percentage. At least what I see right now, as the results are coming in. In the, Jamaat-e-Islami has come up as a stronger political element, which is a significant rise given the context of Bangladesh. And that is telling me that whoever is in power has to be careful on it because the new voters are different than the old generation of voters who were part of both when we were part of Pakistan as well as first independent group of people. So I can see that at least their mindset is already in the political process, and every political party has to be careful on this mindset.
You said every political party needs to be careful in its mindset. I talk to different age sections, whether they be the 60 years plus, or whether they be in their middle ages, or whether they be the youth, or first time voters as well. They all were, as you yourself said, unanimous on certain issues that they wanted Bangladesh or the future government in Bangladesh to handle: law and order, corruption, and economy. These are three topics that they were really very passionate about that and hoping that the new government will move towards. Speaking on the economic situation, don't you feel economy, law and order, corruption, and so many other things, isn't that putting a lot of pressure on whosoever comes into power?
Yes, I think this is the challenge they have to take. They cannot ignore it. That's how I see it. They have to deal with the economy, and I don't think it's a big challenge. But if you run an honest government, if you run a transparent government, it's not a big issue. Bangladesh has an advantage, like maybe also in terms of Pakistan. We have a growing population. A growing population is both a problem for some people, but it's also an opportunity because the economy of Bangladesh will not slow down until 2040, 45, 46. So given this opportunity, the government has to take advantage of it. What the government, consecutive government has failed is that during the process, they did not establish the rule of law. They did not establish the process of fairness in the society and justice in the society. I think it's an opportunity also, not only just challenge. And I think the government has to be careful, whoever forms the government, because the next political power, whether it's the BNP or the Jamaat, are very close to each other. And that basically tells me that if one cannot deal with the challenge, the people are going to change the whole political process. So the
And of course,
electoral vote will change. So I think that's a big challenge for the government.
I completely agree with you on that. It's a big challenge for the government, and I really hope that whichsoever government, whosoever comes into power, really rises up to this challenge and strengthens Bangladesh from the root up, and takes care of all the different issues that have plagued Bangladesh in the last few years or the last few decades, to say the least. Thank you very much, Professor Enamul Haque, the Director General of the Bangladesh Institute for Development Studies, who was joining us, of course, from Dhaka. Thank you very much, sir, for your eminent point of view and, of course, your analysis of these elections and the political process. This political process that is going on as we speak, a lot of excitement in Dhaka and, of course, in front of the Election Commission. Every political party and the representatives are also coming and going, and all the journalists are here as well. I managed to talk to people from different walks of life and different age group. One of the ladies that really impressed me was Sarwari Rahman, former Minister for Women and Children Affairs. She was of a certain age, but she had decades of experience of having worked with Khalda Zia ma'am in her government. And she had very fond memories of not only Khalda Zia, but also many other important leaders of the region. Let's take you to what she had to say.
I'm very excited about. I have worked with President Zia. I've worked with Begum Khalida Zia very closely.
All right.
Very closely.
All right.
And I'm very happy to see this festive occasion. Obviously, I want the younger generation, the children, all of them now, I want to see them active.
All right.
To work for the country
Yes.
and take the country forward. Very important for the youth to understand the politics of the country and to come forward and to work for the country. And I really welcome it. I welcome it.
All right. That was Sarwari Rahman, ladies and gentlemen, former minister, talking to me so affectionately as if I was her own. And that is what the sentiment is in the region. Bangladesh is our brotherly country, that will emerge stronger after these elections that have happened, and the results of these elections also that will start pouring in just in a couple of hours, unofficially first, and then, of course, officially starting from tomorrow morning. We'll all be eagerly awaiting the results of those elections, and we'll be bringing those to you live as well on Pakistan TV, the official version, of course, definitely. This said, this process, this environment has been unique for Bangladesh. It has been unique for the people of Bangladesh, especially for the youth of Bangladesh, who are finally seeing some form of representation for them in this whole process, and also in the form of whichsoever government takes shape in the next couple of days. With that, Umar Khalid Bhat bids you farewell from this episode of Beyond Borders. It's the last episode of this week, so we'll see you, inshallah, on Monday, maybe from Pakistan, with, of course, stories that pertain to you, us, the world in particular. We will always continue to bring you stories that are pertinent, important from a global perspective. And here we are in Bangladesh, in Dhaka, doing exactly that. Allah Hafiz.